السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ازيكم متابعيني وكل اخواتي. هاني في المغرب جيت عشان اقول لكم احلى تحية على كل اخواتنا واشقائنا وحبايبنا في المملكة المغربية. النهاردة عندنا فيديو مهم جدا حابب ان انا اوثقه لحضراتكم وان اقدمه لكم على طبق من ذهب مش من فضة، طبق من ذهب الماظ حر لكل اخواتنا وحبايبنا اللي دايما بيتابعونا. حاجة كده ساحرة علشان خاطر عيونكم الجميلة اللي بتتابعنا وبتشوفنا. جبت لكم الفيديو بتاع النهاردة علشان تسمعوا معانا أحداث مهمة هنسمعها ونشوفها، شيقة ممتعة فعلا مثيرة للجدل على كل محركات البحث. هاني في المغرب بيبحث دائما عن المتاعب، بيبحث دائما عن إثارة الجدل، بيبحث دائما عن تقديم المحتوى اللي ينال إعجابكم. تفاصيل هنسمعها في فيديو النهاردة، ولكن تفضلا منكم وليس أمرا لو نعمل اللايك أو نشترك في القناة ونفعل الجرس وندوس على زرار الكل، ولو اتكرمتم علينا نكتب الرأي لأن رأيك مهم جدا. اللي جاي ضرب نار حي، ويلا مع بعض نسمع التفاصيل.
In the space of just 8 years, he was able to conquer all the important cities, thus managing to unite the country. For this reason, he was the first Alawite Sultan of Morocco. But Rashid's death in 1672 would bring a giant of Moroccan history to the throne, one that was even more capable than him. Hearing of his brother's death on a hunting accident, Ismail quickly took control of the throne, but his grip on power was far from secure. In accordance with the developments of the time, the Sultan's death was taken as a signal by various groups and individuals as a power-grabbing opportunity. Internal intrigues inside the family meant that Ismail had to contend with his own nephew and brothers on numerous occasions. This issue was finally resolved in 1685 with the death of his nephew. Ismail also had to fortify himself from external threats. The extended period of political disorder prior to the Alawites had afforded certain European nations with a foothold in Morocco. The Spanish and Portuguese had established their presence by holding numerous coastal towns and cities in the north and west. At the same time, Ismail had to worry about his fellow Muslims, the Ottomans, who occupied Algeria to his east. All this does not take into consideration what might have been Ismail's most dangerous foe. You see, the very landscape of Morocco lends itself to forming people that are fiercely independent and self-sufficient. Within the mountains and deserts of this land live a tribal ethnic group that were just that: the Berbers. Their aversion to central authority being imposed upon them led to a number of rebellions against Ismail. And considering their huge numbers and martial prowess, Ismail needed to come up with a solution that could satisfy his primary political priority. He had to be the alpha male of Morocco. That meant nobody could contest his authority. Ismail's respect for absolutism, as well as the glory associated with his long reign, bore him comparisons with his French contemporary, Louis XIV. Ismail was a man who knew his people and his land. He recognized the need for a large military force that could withstand all the various threats to his power, internal and external. And so he made what could probably be described as the most important decision of his rule. He created something known as the Abd al-Bukhari. This army was made up of black Africans, hence why in English they were known as the Black Guard. They were personally loyal to the Sultan, kind of like the Janissaries under the Ottomans. But unlike the Janissaries, the Abid were not celibate. They were given black women by Sultan Ismail as partners, therefore still keeping them separate from the rest of Moroccan society, an integral rationale behind forces independent of local loyalties throughout history. The Abid would receive years of training as builders and soldiers. They received their name because for their oath of allegiance they swore loyalty on the Sahih al-Bukhari, the well-known collection of hadiths or traditions of the Prophet Muhammad. They were deployed by Ismail in the most important sectors of governance, such as tax collecting and putting down revolts against his authority. With their large numbers, estimated to be between 70,000 to 150,000, they were stationed in a network of garrisons across the country. The military prowess of the Abid effectively served Ismail's vision for absolute authority, and their hard power effect on society was complemented well by Ismail's usage of his prestigious descent to legitimize his position. As was the case with their Sa'dian predecessors, the Alawites claimed descent from none other than the Prophet Muhammad. The dynastic name itself comes from the name of the fourth Rashidun Khalif, Ali. The Alawite rulers even used the title Mulay, which could be connected to Ali but could also just mean Lord. Whether or not this lineal connection was real or not almost doesn't matter. The intended aim is of most importance to us. The fact that such a strong association with the most venerated man in Islam existed would only have served to reinforce the Alawites' spiritual and political legitimacy. But the glory linked with Sultan Ismail was not solely underpinned by his political exploits. In addition to stamping his authority across his realm and fortifying it from outside threats, he was firmly invested in raising the overall prosperity and progress of Moroccan society. In Meknes, he essentially built an imperial capital from scratch. With his abundant supply of slaves funneled to him by the Barbary pirates, Ismail ordered large-scale constructions in his capital, such as the immense palace complex, the Kasbah of Mulay Ismail.
اهلا بيكم مرة تانية كل اخواتنا وحبايبنا واشقائنا اللي بنحبهم وبنسعد جدا بتقديم محتوى ليهم. شكرا على كل كلامكم الجميل، شكرا لكل حد دعمنا باللايك، اشترك في القناة، فعل الجرس، داس على زرار الكل لان ده مهم جدا انه يعمل مشاركة لكل اخواتنا وكتب رأيه، لان فعلا اللي جاي ضرب نار حي. واشكركم جدا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.